Hey all, it's me, Leticia Romero, and you just landed, fortunately or unfortunately, in my world. Let's talk news. I'm glad to have you here if you did actually land here. And hopefully, we can spend the next half hour talking about these crazy things that are happening in the news and how the mainstream media is reporting it. Um, I decided today I was going full blown MAGA. And here I am, my Trump hat, my Russell Fry Freedom Fry shirt. And I have just about had enough. I've had enough. And I am so grateful that you all are joining me, and we decided that we were going to keep our conversations going, conservative conversations, and the ability to call bullshit on mainstream media. So today, again, now an attack on ICE agents. Um, and we'll get into that in a minute, but it's absolutely crazy. Hello, Mama. Good to have you here. I'm glad that you are with us tonight. Um, so I don't know where to start. Uh, I'm thinking that we should start probably with this whole Tylenol autism situation that we spoke about the other night. As you recall, RFK Jr. and Trump and the head of the NIH all came out and they spoke about a report from Harvard, Mount Sinai, and I think it was also John Hopkins that links the possible link of Tylenol to autism. And so our president, President Donald Trump, went on air along with RFK Jr. and some others, and he cautioned mothers who were pregnant only to use Tylenol if absolutely necessary, as in the case of a very high fever or severe pain. And immediately, mainstream media went crazy saying that there was no such. Oh, am I buffering? I don't know. I seem to have a good connection. It might be you, Fran. I hope it's. I hope that it clears up soon. Anyway, the mainstream media is saying that there's no connection and that go right ahead and take Tylenol. Uh, I can't imagine why they would do such a thing. One of the things that they said was that there has not been, get this, there has not been enough time to study Tylenol's effects on autism or whether or not Tylenol causes autism. Tylenol has been around for 40 years and autism for far longer than that. So, how could there not be enough time to study it? But more importantly, they're telling mothers go right ahead and take Tylenol. Um, and they're saying because those studies can't be good because there wasn't enough time. Well, didn't they tell us all to get the COVID vaccine? And there was zero long-term side effect studies done on that and zero amount of time to study it. You're good by me and I'm in the woods. Okay, so that's good. So it might be you, Fran. Reboot. Yeah, take all the vaccines too. Well, I just want you to see what is going on TikTok. Oh, wait, where'd it go? Hold on. Here we go. This is just crazy. They're following science, not Trump. Who, oh, by the way, all those people that were standing there were scientists. And oh, by the way, things change in science. Science evolves, right? If you don't you can't know long-term effects before you have long-term use. So the thing that gets me crazy, and I need a drink because I just can't. The things that gets me crazy is that these women are the Trump derangement syndrome is so strong in these women that they are willing to risk the health of their child to spite Trump. How does it spite Trump? If you overuse Tylenol and it harms your baby, how does that spite Trump? That harms you and your baby and your family. So you're spiting yourself, your baby, and maybe even the father of your child, and maybe even the child's grandparents who want to meet him or her. I mean, what the hell is going on in the world? I don't know. Colleen, I think you're right. I recall Tylenol saying use sparingly, consult your physician, because any drug during pregnancy is no good. Any chemical is no good during pregnancy. They are sick people, and Tylenol is not going to cure them. So they're willing to risk their baby's welfare. Apparently, yes. So this is the society we live in now. Some science is not even proven science. They use that term loosely. Listen, there is out there some video on Jenny McCarthy and Jenny McCartney, and what's his name? Oh God, the guy from Dumb and Dumber, and also from the animal pet something or another, Pet Detective. I can't. Jim Carrey. And they were talking with a late night talk show host about the fact that after 1989, the amount of vaccines doubled for children, and nobody could explain why. I thought it was really, really good interview, and you should see if you could find it out there. Also, there was some testimony in front of Congress about a study that was done, a really big comprehensive study comparing vaccinated children with unvaccinated children. And it was done by two well-established and respected doctors. And the reason they did it was because they wanted to shut the anti-vaxxers up, because they figured, when they would prove that vaccination was better. And the study showed that children who were vaccinated were 56% more likely to be sick in many different ways. So they never published that study. They did it, but they never published it, because if they had published it, it would have set everybody out on their ear. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. I could do it this way. This is much better. I can't. They're so sick and they're twisted. They are indeed. Also, they're told to give it to the kids after the vaccines because the kids get feverish, and that could also be a contributing factor. Yeah, I mean, they told me to give it to my kid ahead of time, so that any side effects would be minimalized. And of course, as a young mother, I just did what they said. And now that I think about it, well, if there was a side effect, why would we want it minimalized? Why wouldn't we want to know what the side effect was? Doctors say Tylenol and Aleve and Advil all said to use sparingly. We got like 7 vaccines. Now we get like 60. I think it's 72. I have 2 grandkids, same family, one vaxxed, always sick, one not vaxxed and well. All right, there you go. But here's some progress. CDC is now saying the MMRV not until age 4, which is a big, big difference from where it was. They were giving that as part of the 2-year cycle. I think even 4 is a little young, but they're using it. I think that by 4 is much better than brand new. That's all I can say. But I'm not a doctor. I just raised a couple of kids, and bunch of babies and all kinds of things, and I've spent most of my life in hospitals or in physicians because I had a special needs child, most likely vax harmed, and there's a lot you learn as a mother, and I know all of you are out there too, and you feel the same way. All right, well, did you all see that Jimmy Kimmel was back on air yesterday? And I did not grab a clip because I'm not going to give him any airtime. But I'm going to say this. He spent his time apparently tearing his eye, saying how he didn't mean, you took it wrong. He didn't apologize. He said you took it wrong. He said it wasn't really a joke. Maybe it wasn't a good joke. Blah blah blah. And then after his non-apology, he then went on to bash the president, saying the president couldn't take a joke, even though he said that he really wasn't making a joke in the first place. So what have we learned? We've learned that Kamala Harris's inability to speak is contagious. And anybody that spends a lot of time with her will end up speaking in word salads and circles. And Jimmy Kimmel has certainly done that. And so while the new champion of free speech is Jimmy Kimmel, and he is now the poster child for free speech, guess what happened yesterday quietly? And nobody's talking about it. Well, what happened was Google admitted that the Biden administration pressured them to take people's opinions down, to ban people who spoke about the COVID vaccine, who spoke about many other things. These people did not violate their policies. These people just spoke about things that the Biden administration did not care for. And so COVID got rid of them. So as you recall, I met some of you because of free speech, and most especially Colleen, who lost, I can't tell you how many accounts with Meta. And I've lost at least 4 accounts with YouTube for speaking the truth. And now they're going to reinstate all those accounts. So Colleen, you better be ready. They're going to come back in a flood. Jimmy Kimmel is a left-wing hack, and if he got ratings this week, it's because people wanted to see what he was going to say. They did, and now it's over for him. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think he's talentless. So anyway, I've got copy for this one. I'm going to actually read this article about Google while I show you this. Okay, Google admits censorship pressure from Biden administration, pledges to reinstate YouTube accounts. It's from the Dallas Express. Google is admitted to censoring political speech under pressure from the Biden administration and pledged to reinstate thousands of banned YouTube accounts. In a letter to House Judiciary Committee, the company stated the administration had pressured it to remove content despite that content not having violated YouTube's policies. Quote, "This was unacceptable and wrong," the company stated. The disclosure followed years of investigation led by Chairman Jim Jordan. The committee subpoenaed Google earlier this year as part of its inquiry into big tech censorship practices. According to the letter, Google will allow creators banned for political speech on COVID-19, elections, and related issues an opportunity to return to the platform. The company emphasized that public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities. Google also said it would not rely on third-party fact checkers. Quote, "We will never use third-party fact checkers," the letter noted. Instead, the company committed to transparency in its own enforcement policies. The company further explained that future enforcement would rely on clear and consistent standards rather than shifting demands from outside actors. Google said it would publish more information about how policies are developed and applied. The letter warned that censorship laws in Europe pose a growing threat to free speech in America. Google argued that European rules pressure U.S. companies to remove lawful content, which could limit debate inside the United States. The company stated that it intends to resist policies that compel it to, quote, "take down lawful but disfavored speech." Google also acknowledged broader issues tied to competition in digital marketplace. It noted that access to quality data drives artificial intelligence and online services, and efforts to restrict or hoard data could create monopoly advantages. So, what a bunch of bullshit. Well, we got pressure from the government, and instead of suing under our First Amendment rights and saying to the Biden administration, "Oh no, we're not playing," they decided to go the route of capitulating and doing just what the government said when there was no need to, because the government really doesn't have oversight over them, or didn't at that time. So why would Google, I wonder, choose to do that? I mean, they could have had a really good lawsuit on their hand. And not only that, they could have been the father or mothers of free speech instead of now Elon Musk being that. Oh, well, wait. And Jimmy Kimmel this week. So while we were all suffering and not allowed to speak, Google was just caving to Joe Biden. Yeah, no shit. We were all in Facebook jail at some point. Oh, I can't tell you how many accounts I lost. It's absolute insanity that I just lost account after account. And I had it. And then when they stopped cutting out my account, they started slowing it down and changing my algorithm so nobody saw it. I mean, still to this day, look, I mean, we've been on air for 4 years now, and, you know, we can't break the barrier. Although I have to say, YouTube is doing much better. The algorithm is picking up. Things are changing quite a bit on YouTube. But still, I mean, Colleen, I remember Colleen would come on the show every other day saying, I can't see you. I'm in Facebook jail. I need another link. I need a different way to watch you. You know, it's just ridiculous. Zuckerberg said no more fact checkers, and they're still censoring. Yeah, they still are. I had an account that I lost for a meme that was everywhere. Still to this day, it wouldn't allow me to post. I just canceled it. We are shadow banned to this day. Yeah, we are. I mean, I know I am. I could tell the difference in my algorithm. I could see what Twitter does compared to YouTube and Rumble. Well, Rumble's okay, but Rumble's highly competitive. But YouTube and Meta, you know, Instagram and Facebook. It's kind of crazy. All right, so the big story of the day. The big story of the day is that, again, another shooter. Again, a leftist shooter. The shooter was targeting ICE agents and supposedly was angry that illegal migrants were being deported from the country. So what does he do? He shoots and kills 2 of them, wounds another by blind shooting into a van that was coming into the ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. I have no words. I have no words. This is now, it's enough now. What is going on with the left? I got my original account back, but only on desktop, not an app. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm shadow banned too on Facebook, not X. Yeah, X is different. All right. I'm going to show you a clip and then we can talk about this.
Breaking news coverage continues here on Fox 4 and Fox Local. Here is the only photo we have right now of the suspected shooter, who police have identified as 29-year-old Joshua Yawn. This is a mugshot from 2015 following an arrest for possession of marijuana out of Collin County.
Police say he killed himself before they arrived this morning. He was perched on the roof of a nearby building. So that shooter opened fire about 6:30 this morning, firing a rifle from the roof of a building near the Immigration and Customs Enforcement location. This is 35 at Empire Central in Dallas. The gunman fired rounds into an unmarked ICE vehicle that was transporting detainees.
2 ICE detainees were killed and a 3rd was wounded. The numbers have been quite fluid as this has developed since this morning. The gunman, we can tell you, is dead. Officials say he took his own life, and sources have identified the shooter as 29-year-old Joshua Yance. The FBI says the suspect wrote anti-ICE messaging on bullets, and they are calling it a targeted attack.
We do know that law enforcement has arrived at multiple homes connected, they say, possibly to that shooter.
Yep, we've got a location in North Texas, also one in Oklahoma.
We're joined now by former Dallas Police Chief Brown here, who also works as a security consultant. Upon hearing these initial reports from the scene, what do we know about the skill level of a shooter? I mean, being roughly 200 yards, maybe even less. away from the building and where that van, where those victims were shot. Do we think this was a skilled shooter involved here?
Strategically, tactically, to think about, I need to be in an elevated position. I need to be facing where people come in and out, took some planning. So not novice, just from the placement of this shooter, thinking about where to get in, how to get to the roof without being seen, laying prone, which makes you more stable, more accurate. But the distance is not that difficult.
And when you talk about laying
rifle.
prone, you're talking about on your stomach.
On your stomach.
Right.
Makes you more stable instead of trying to stand or
Yes.
be or kneel. So there's some level of skill, but you could be someone who hunts and have that level of skill. It's not necessarily military or policing skill, but I would say the distance is not a really difficult distance with a rifle at all.
Does it change anything that it was dark outside and that it was raining, or do you think that maybe it was close enough that really anybody could have done this?
Not just the rain, the wind. It was really windy this morning. And so the windage is one thing you have to calculate to be accurate with a rifle. So the person had, again, not novice, not amateur, not necessarily professional. But I would say this person had a level of skill, a level of planning, at least a level of strategy to be able to pull this off and be accurate and hit someone.
Okay, so let's discuss this. Yeah, the leftist shooters shot who the left wants to protect. So in essence, their propaganda shot them in the foot. Yeah, they absolutely did. Their ideology backfired on them. Oh my goodness, it's so true. Gavin Newsom and the rest should stop their rhetoric because their criminals are now getting killed by those following them. You know, it's amazing to me that they don't recognize what's going on. Look, I've always been someone who said, you cannot say that people will just follow what the president says because the president says it, or people will not follow what people on TV says because they said it. But I am now learning, I'm retracting that, because that might have been our generation where we, looked into things, thought for ourselves, could see through the scam. But now I'm realizing that these young people are so stupid. I mean, look at these women, pregnant women putting their babies, taking Tylenol as if them taking Tylenol is going to somehow spite Trump. Trump doesn't care. He got on to give you a warning. You want to damage your body or risk your child? That's up to you. Because we in the Republican Party believe in freedom of thought, freedom of speech. But these lefties are hammering the fascist, the Nazism, the authoritarian, the narrative that somehow or another, all of us MAGA are not human. And if we're not human, then therefore it's okay to kill us. And this is exactly what was done in Nazi Germany. This was done with the Egyptians and the Jews. This has been that was done with the whites, with the slaves. This was done a million times before, and we're seeing it happen again. So, do I say that their speech should be censored? No, I don't. But I do say that they need to censor themselves. There's a way to oppose somebody without what they're doing. And, I heard somebody say, oh, both sides do it. No, I don't think so. Because when we call somebody a socialist, they are. AOC, Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, they've all proven themselves to be socialists. They're all moving in that direction. And I think that's like the worst name that we have called the leftists. They recognize it, Letitia. They will not own up to it. Who are they going to blame now? Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because they killed the people that they were trying to protect. I mean, talk about insanity. Again, like the girl swallowing Tylenol to spite Trump. They'll follow Kamala and not take any responsibility for any of it. Yeah, well, it seems to be what we're doing with this generation, right? No responsibility. They want all the rights, but no responsibility. The leadership in those states are not leaders, but activists. It makes me feel like we're being set up. It truly does, because we have so many actors in roles of leadership. I mean, Trump's an actor too, but I mean, if you look at the connection between Pelosi and Newsom and some of the others in the state of California, it's as if there's a fiefdom there. They've been handing leadership roles back and forth in California for about the last 50 years. And we've seen that with the Clintons. We've seen that with the Bushes. We've seen that with the Rockefellers. We've seen that in this country many, many times. And I'm starting to really, really worry, because I'm starting to feel like I am living in an alternative universe, or an alternate universe, because John Fetterman is the most sane person that the Democrats have. He's the most moderate, sensible person that the Democrats have since Manchin is gone. What? But think about it. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I have not heard that, it's like the Democrats don't have any adults in the room anymore. Yeah, they're self-proclaimed socialists. They're saying it. And I mean, look at the UK. Starmer, he's a socialist party. Yeah, it's a cabal. Yeah, you're right, it is. If it was both sides, we would have had riots, not Revel left to Charlie. And that's the thing that drives me absolutely insane. What are they talking about, both sides? When was the last time, I mean, other than when we all protested in the streets, and even then we didn't break anything. We didn't go beating up cops or spitting on police officers, as angry as we were. As a matter of fact, I had to defend police officers from crazy people who wanted to, was really harassing them in front of the bar there. I mean, we've all seen it. But when was the last time you ever saw Republicans or conservatives out in the streets, burning up towns, harming people? You want to say January 6th? Well, January 6th, we know that we were out there protesting, but we also know that the instigators was not us. Yeah, it is now revealed that it wasn't us. It were other agitators in the group that started that broke windows, that created such havoc. And it was the police that fired on us being peaceful first. So, yeah, a lot different. And if you want to talk about hateful rhetoric, I mean, like I said, what's the worst that we ever say? Socialist? Communist? But they are, and they're proud of it. So it's getting people killed, and the people that are getting killed are the people that they claim they want to protect. Fetterman is the voice of reason since the fog of his stroke cleared. Yeah, I mean, we understand him. He makes sense. He's measured in his words, and he knows that his party has left him behind, and he refuses to go. This sounds like a takeover to me. UK and what's in our Senate and Congress, and this Mamdani for mayor. Something is terribly wrong. It feels really wrong. It really does feel wrong. And I mean, Trump, at the UN yesterday said it. They have to get their hands around what's going on in their countries. They have to start protecting their countries. I'm really glad. The president of Finland had an interview with Brett Baer today, and he was supporting Trump very strongly, and he was applauding him for the speech that he gave and how he's handling Russia and Ukraine. And I was glad to see it. I think that the truth is that if you looked at those leaders yesterday, they really, really, if it's not respect, they have fear for Trump. That's for sure. And I wanted to say something too. I think it was you, Deb, who said that that the elevator and the teleprompter was done intentionally. And it seems that it might have been. I mean, I saw things on social media, but you can never believe social media. But it seems like the plug was pulled intentionally, The UN is a joke. They came here in New York City to get laid and eat meat. No pun intended. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, I think that we all need to pray for the poor souls that were killed for political reasons by, what would you call it, friendly fire? I guess so. And pray for the recovery of those that are still alive. And I think that we need to really pray for the black soul of Gavin Newsom and Pelosi and Schumer and all those that just cannot help themselves, but have to use that hateful rhetoric that is dehumanizing all of us. I just thank God that the Second Amendment is on our side, because at least we can protect ourselves from this. And what percentage of the NYPD did Jen say was Muslim? Was it 50%? Yeah, it was pretty high. It's pretty high. It's a large percentage. I agree. It was intentional. Well, apparently that's what I'm seeing from credible sources now. Last night I couldn't confirm it, but now I'm seeing it from credible sources. So we'll see what happens. All right. As usual, we've gone over. I want to thank you for joining me tomorrow night. Join me again, and then we're off on we're off on Friday and Saturday, and then we resume again Sunday. Thank you. I know that, being here every night with me, you have other things to do, but I'm glad that you're joining me and keeping conservative voices on air and talking. And I love you all for, putting your comments up and driving this discussion. You are just the absolute best audience. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow night. Yeah, it is disturbing, Colleen. It is, and that's why the Second Amendment is so important. Okay, I will see you tomorrow.